Before we get started, I want to remind everybody to hit that subscribe button so you can be part of the 500 subscriber random drawing. Once we hit that 500 subscriber mark, winners of that drawing will be contacted. We'll find out what type of fishing you like to do, and I'm going to tie up some jigs specifically for that type of fish. Subscribe and stay tuned. So I'm at the bench today. I got some paint curing. Thought I'd just throw the cameras on and do a quick tie. I don't even have all the extra stuff going on. I just have the cameras rolling. So what I'm putting in the vise today is a 1/32 football head. This is primarily a jig that I tie for ice fishing. The head that I use to tie for ice fishing, but I also like to calf tail, squirrel tail, and marabou. Like to fish under a bobber in the summer for panfish, crappie, and bluegill mostly. This is such a short-bodied hook. I don't typically use any chenille. If I do, the chenille would be just a collar, something like that. And today we're using marabou tips. And we wouldn't necessarily need to use the whole tip. This is, you know, a nice full-bodied tip. That would look just fine. If we want to thin this out a little bit, we can pull down some of these fibers. Just to, you know, if we wanted something a little bit less of a profile. And then these fibers on the sides, again, I've mentioned this before, you can use those a little bit more wild. These tips are fairly good, but you also have some shorter fibers that are in the middle there, but that would look fantastic as well. But for this one, I had this one feather. So to get started, let me get my bobbin in order. I have some Uni Thread today, 3/0. Went through all my inventory, couldn't find any pink Danville. I've got boxes of Danville that I've had for decades. Just happened to be out of the pink. But this is the Uni Thread 3/0 pink. So it's another good thread. I've got plenty of this on hand. There we go. So I use the pink thread. Walk it down to the bend of the hook, and then back to the head of the jig. Like I said, we're not going to put any chenille or anything like that on this body, just because this is such a tiny jig. So again, I'll go back to that one tip that I have, and I can just pinch up on the fibers. What I want to do is I want to tail, since this is such a short shank hook, I'm actually going to measure from the eye, but I want the tail to extend past the bend of the hook, the length of the eye to the bend of the hook, past the bend of the hook. Like that. Twist to that second. I have in my vise here some marks. So if I hold that in place in between the second and third markings, that's about what I want. So just like with bucktail or calf tail, I switch my grip one last time, keep this left hand pinch very tight, Keep all of these fibers compressed. And lay them right in place. Come on. You might get one or two strands that aren't attached to the stem. That's okay, they'll come right off. And give the fibers a little bit of a press to help them make their way around the shaft of the hook. And I can finish this off. I guess I'll use a whip finish tool. I have it out. I just used for another jig. 1, 2, 3. This is a super simple jig to tie. You can tie dozens of these in an evening. I finish off the collar with my lacquer-based head cement. As this gets wet, this will come together in a nice fishy profile. It works great under a bobber. So tie a bunch of those up. Very simple, easy jig. It's a good way to pass the time and fill your tackle box for summertime fishing. I think that'll do it for today. Until next time, guys, keep tying in tight lines.